Eberechukwu is my name. I'm the MD, Chief Executive Officer of ND Western. ND Western started in 2011, April of 2011. We were incorporated at the time as a special purpose vehicle for the purpose of acquiring the then divested assets of Shell. So in a very competitive bid, we were successful to acquire 45% equity share of the Shell Total Ajib JV with NNPC. At that time, a number of divestitures were going on, and we were successful to acquire OML 34. OML 34 has in the mining lease Utorogu gas field, which is a major gas field, and I'll talk about that shortly. And then we have Ughelli East and Ughelli West, and there were also other fields that are in the OML 34. The companies that came together to form ND Western is the Nigeria Petroleum Resources, NDPR, which is one of our majority stakeholders. Then we have Petroleum, which is a foreign trading company. We have First EMP, also an indigenous independent EMP company. And then we have Watersmith. So the four companies, they came together and formed ND Western, and that's our origin. So the transaction started April of 2011, and by September of 2012, the transaction was closed and the asset was handed over to us. MPDC assumed the equity of NNPC as the EMP arm of NNPC, and also assumed operatorship at the time of the transfer. So in the last 8 to 9 years, we have been working with MPDC to run the OML 34. About 3 years ago, we formed the asset management team together with MPDC to have joint operation of the asset. We inherited the Ogunu and the Ejeba facilities of Shell, formerly of Shell, and we have put that to quite significant use. So that's ND Western in brief for you. In terms of production and performance, we have grown the asset in leaps and bounds from the time that we took it over, from Shell, below 10,000 barrels at the time of handover. Today, we are producing 20,000 barrels, so that's quite a significant growth in the liquids of the asset. Also, the gas business has grown significantly. Today, we do about 300 million SCOF. At peak production last year, we did 385. By the end of this year, we will take production to 400 million SCOF sustained. We have a plant capacity of 600 million SCOF. And over the next few years, once we start our drilling campaign, we will fill the plants, and that will be a major feed of domestic gas to the domestic gas network. We also supply to the West African gas pipeline, so to our West African neighbors. We also do provide gas to them. So ND Western is a backbone domestic gas supplier. We are reliable, stable, and have been providing power, gas for the power companies as one of their very reliable domestic gas suppliers. Also, we feed to other industries. We have commercial off-takers, and just now we're in conversation to also provide gas to some gas-based industry. So the asset has done very well. Working together with MPDC, we have developed that asset. We just concluded a drilling campaign that came in with very fantastic results, and we're very pleased with that effort, despite all the challenges that came with the lockdown. ND Western, as a company, has done quite a lot of work in the community's end, and I really want to always talk about that whenever I have a chance to talk about ND Western. So ND Western has achieved quite a lot of milestones. So I just spoke to you about the production milestones that we've achieved. It's not easy. As you may know, a natural producing oil and gas field have what we call natural decline. In some fields, those natural decline is anywhere between 10 and 20% natural decline. So to keep production growing means that you make efforts to bring additional production, not just the 10 to 20% that you lose, but you have to produce more than that to keep production. We have done exceptionally well, and as I described to you, both for the oil and for the gas, and we're very pleased with the achievement we have accomplished. We're one of the few who has had very successful drilling campaign, and we're extremely proud that drilling campaign provided opportunity for many indigenous companies to participate in our operation, and we're extremely pleased about that. Apart from our oil production performance, we have also done quite a lot in human capacity development. We're extremely proud to have hired quite a number of Nigerians, provided stable employment for quite many people, and we are glad that that's coming off strong. We have a very high Nigerian staff strength and very limited expert contribution. So mostly done by Nigerian people. So that's very something we're very proud of. We've done quite a lot of work. Some of the assets and facilities that we inherited from Shell, for instance, the Ejeva and the Ogunu facilities that was having very low utilization. Today we have over 90% utilization of these facilities, showing our ability to commercialize everything that is put in our care and custody as a very disciplined operator. We've got huge achievement in the community space. We have huge achievement in the HSE space. Recently, our drilling team ran 1 million man-hours of continuous drilling operations without any LTI, and same thing with our ongoing operations, several million man-hours already achieved without any LTI. It does show our very disciplined HSE performance, and we're extremely proud of our HSE achievement and performance. We're quite pleased in the community space, the work that we have done in the community space, and it bears saying that in the 8 years of our operation, we are yet to have a single community shutdown, and that is testament to the very formidable relationship we have built with the host community. We have what we call the GMOU, which is very well funded. And under that GMOU, we have a trustee that runs the GMOU in conjunction with the communities. And in that collaboration, we have done quite a lot of work. We have 28 host communities, and in all 28 host communities, we have renovated schools, primary schools, secondary schools. For all these 28 host communities, we built community town halls for most of these host communities. We've provided scholarship to many students coming out from these host communities. So ND Western have a very functional model which we advertise as a template model of how to relate with host communities, because we are invested in them. We have a very well-funded GMOU that works. Some GMOUs don't work, but ours work. And we have very strong commitments to the host community in terms of capacity build, involving the local people in almost every work that we do through the FTO structure that we have in place. So we are very proud of our work with the host communities. We've achieved a lot with the host communities. Last year, when COVID happened, we committed ourselves to be providing to the host communities quarterly interventions by way of providing foodstuff and all kinds of amenities to support the host communities throughout the shutdown period. And we're very grateful, and we're very proud of that work that we did. In addition to that, we also played a very strong role in the IPPG COVID support to the government with very strong contributions that we made in that space. I think it's important to mention that ND Western we have invested in providing a PCR testing laboratory in the Ogunu Hospital, former Shell Ogunu Hospital, which is really a remarkable investment that we have made to ensure that our staff that go in and out of the field, they get tested in this PCR test laboratory in Ogunu, extremely exceptional. We provide a lot of scholarships to students beyond our host communities, and that is important to mention. As at today, we are about to complete an e-library at University of Ibadan, named after Professor Oyawoye, one of the first professors of geology in Nigeria, highly revered and highly respected in the Nigerian oil and gas sector. We are very proud to be associated with that, knowledge expert as far as we are concerned, and we are about completing that project. We look to August this year to actually open the multi-story facility that's been built in University of Ibadan, which we believe will provide ongoing training and capability build. That will also feed our industry. It's dedicated to the geology department of University of Ibadan. I think what you're hearing from me is that ND Western is a very formidable indigenous company, playing very solid role in the host community, playing very solid role in the education sector, playing very solid role even in the entertainment sector. We sponsored some local movies that teach morals and values, and that's something we're very proud to be involved in. We are sponsoring some Nigerian athletes. That's something we're also very proud in. We participate in many conferences and seminars that we provide support and funding to continue to promote the industry. So the challenges we face in the oil and gas sector, there are very many, and I will just highlight some of them and speak to it. I think anytime you talk about challenges in the Nigerian oil and gas sector, you have to start with security. Our operation is challenged. We continue to have very many security incidences, especially on the trunk line and on the pipeline, with theft and sabotage and all the things that happen on the trunk line, and also security around our equipment that do get vandalized. So that places quite a huge security burden on us. I must commend the government security agencies for the work that they are doing with us to ensure the protection of these assets. But the challenges remain there, and we cannot talk about it without mentioning that there are challenges, even though we are tackling them, and we encourage the GSS, as we commend them for the work they do. We encourage them to do more so that we can stamp out some of these incidents that continue to bedevil our industry. The other challenge that we do have, and I like to just mention a few of those challenges, and I can delve into the ones that do matter. We have the issue and the challenge of funding. More and more is becoming difficult to secure funding for our operation, as more and more global noise is being made about funding of fossil fuel. So that continues to be a challenge. I think a case needs to be made that as this global shift in campaign against fossil fuel begins to gather momentum, the government needs to look at that critically and find ways and means of shielding the industry from that challenge, or finding ways to make that easy. And we can talk about our own sovereign wealth fund continuing to invest in energy, while some other sovereign wealth funds globally begin to pull away from fossil fuel funding. That could be one way in terms of advocacy. The PIB is a welcome development, because we have had the challenge of uncertainties around some of the fiscal regime that we have been operating, and I'm extremely glad that the PIB is passed. That addresses that challenge. We have also the challenge of capability and capacity build. When the IOCs were the dominant operators in our environment, they on their own was making quite a lot of investment in building capacity in the industry, sending a lot of people overseas and training them. Now that the independents are beginning to assume more and more strong role in the industry, we have the challenge that the experienced people who have been trained, who continue to run these operations, are beginning to retire, and we have what we call the crew change, which means these experienced people, as they retire, we need young people to come at the back of them. But these young people need to be trained, and we just now need to start making that investment to train the young people and build capacity and expertise to the level that is needed, so that as the more experienced people retire, these young people can take over and will be able to still get the quality of expertise and experience that we need to continue to run our industry. So some of the reforms and projects that we've undertaken in ND West, and I think I'll just highlight some of those. So recently, ND Western Board have just approved what we call our ND Western Growth Strategy. In that growth strategy, we have committed ourselves to maximize the potential of the acreage that we currently have, the OML 34 acreage. There are fields that used to be operated by Shell that we have not yet re-entered, so we have a solid commitment to re-enter those fields. Some of them are unitized. We'll deal with those issues as they come. There are parts of our acreage area that do require exploration, so we're going to start an exploration campaign. Not many companies at the moment are running exploration campaign, but exploration is key. If we're going to replace the reserves that we currently hold, we will need exploration campaign, and we've committed ourselves to run that exploration campaign. Ultimately, what we want to do here is to make sure that what we hold, that we maximize maximize its potential and that will produce it absolutely to its limit. Beyond that, we've got a commitment to the downstream sector. We have a license approved for a 10,000 barrels a day mini refinery. We're going to work very hard to bring that mini refinery to production very soon. Also, we're in conversation with NNPC to basically work an additional 10,000 barrels a day condensate refinery, and we will be talking about that in the course of this discussion or later. So if you combine the mini refinery and the condensate refinery, that will be a total of 20,000 barrels a day refining capacity that ND Western will have in the next few years. Beyond that, part of that strategy is also a commitment to the midstream. Under the midstream strategy, we will have NGLs, we will have LPG production, we'll have mini LNG, and we'll have CNG under the midstream commitment. And that we are working on. So if you look at it, we want to go further down the value chain in the liquids production. We also want to go further down the value chain in the gas production. So that's a very solid commitment from our board, and that's what we are pursuing as innovation that we are bringing on board over the next couple of years. In addition to that, we are now speaking quite strongly to potential gas customers that it will make sense for them to co-locate with us in the Utorogo axis as an Utorogo industrial park. That's what we're promoting at the moment. It solves a number of problems. Some of the companies that we are struggling to supply gas to is because they are dotted in pockets across very wide geographical area, meaning that huge investment will need to be made in gas pipeline infrastructure to be able to service those customers. And so we are saying to new investors that are looking to locate their plant, it makes sense for them to co-locate with us. They will share security, we will share common utilities, we will share common infrastructure. It will be easier for the gas to get to them, as the case may be. So we're really promoting that and speaking to potential gas customers that they should co-locate with us in this Utorogo Industrial Park. We are already there ourselves. Transcorp Power is already there. Delta Glass is already there. Delta Steel is within the same axis. And there is already some base infrastructure that is in place. It's easy for people who co-locate with us to get the gas they need without huge infrastructure investment. So these are some of the innovations that we have introduced, and I can talk about a lot more. I think I did mention earlier on that part of the challenge in the industry is this issue of capability build. And I like to say that we are now reviving the Shell intensive training program because we inherited that facility. So we think that it will provide a good opportunity to revive that school where we will, offer to the same degree and even not higher, intensive training for new entrants into the oil and gas industry. And we'll be partnering with IPPG and with other independents to make that happen, because I believe that the only way to solve our problem is if we take responsibility for it, find local solution that meets our local needs, and that would be a good boost and a way to address the challenge I mentioned earlier on about capability in the industry. So we work with very many agencies. MPDC is our major JV partner, holding 55% equity share, and the operator of the OML 34 that we run. So, and we have enjoyed exceptional and excellent relationship with MPDC, and we're very glad about that. And as I mentioned, at the back of MPDC is the NNPC, which we work with, and we also enjoy fantastic working relationship with NNPC, and thanks to the GMB for all the support that we have received as ND Western. We have excellent relationship with Department of Petroleum Resources, and with the director we've worked extremely very well together since he assumed leadership of the DPR, and we are, I think, one of their very good examples of being up to date with whatever we do and supporting their aspiration to be a business enabler. So we work very well with them. We've worked very well with the Ministry of Environment. We work very well with NOSPRA. From time to time, when we have all these bills, we have to respond to them. We have to constitute a JIV. NOSPRA has been working very well. We've worked extremely very well with NCDMB. With all the work that we do in the local content space, and some of the projects that I've announced to you that are in development is also in conjunction with NCDMB. So what you hear is that ND Western works with all these government agencies. We have very good working relationship. Also with the National Assembly, I've made advocacy to the National Assembly over a number of issues, and we have enjoyed exceptionally wonderful and good working relationship with all these government agencies. And I like to take the opportunity to commend the leaders of this organization for the support that ND Western has received over the years. So we did support the government in the fight against COVID. Under the platform of IPPG, we bought vehicles, we bought hospital supplies, we enabled the government fight against COVID when that happened, and we are proud as a ranking and standing member of the IPPG to have been part of that intervention. In addition to that, we as ND Western undertook to support the local communities with a lot of COVID intervention. And in fact, ourselves and some other operators located in Delta State, and I'll mention Seplat and I'll mention FHN, together we worked to provide some COVID relief and COVID materials to the Delta State government. So what you hear from me is that ND Western, as long as the lockdowns lasted and at the peak of the COVID, we did quite a lot to support the state government, to support the local communities and the federal government with the various levels of interventions that were made. And we'll continue to support that effort with the laboratory that I've just mentioned to you. And in fact, we intend to expand the scope of that laboratory beyond PCR to cover other tests to fill the gap in healthcare delivery in the Warri environment and in Delta State at large, as the case may be. So ND Western continue to be excited about some of these CSR projects that we are working on, that we are intervening on, and we'll continue to work on those CSR. And some of the things that we even want to do, like reviving the training center, they also have some CSR components, because we will be training more capacity than we actually do need, and those are really beneficial. Also, the industrial park we're talking about, we have benefits beyond our business to the local community, to the state, as the case may be. So ND Western continue to work very well with all our key stakeholders, and we are extremely proud how all of that has shaped out over the years, and we look forward with excitement to the plans that we have announced as we bring them to actualization. Much more collaboration will be needed with the host community, with the state government, with the federal government, with these government agencies that I have mentioned, to be able to actualize our dreams and our aspirations and our goal and vision, ultimately our vision to become an integrated energy company. That's our stated vision now, not just an oil and gas company, but an integrated energy company. As energy transition is upon us, we are responding to that in a measured and in quite a disciplined way. So overall, what you're hearing from me is that we are proud of our accomplishment and our achievement to date. We are excited about where we are and the contribution we're making to the Nigerian oil and gas company. And we're even much more excited about the contribution that is coming, that ND Western is going to make in the coming years, and that things I've spoken about that are in the horizon. I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to those issues. So I think the only thing I want to add is that we would like to see the speedy conclusion of the PIB. It's very important for us. We want to thank the two houses for the versions of the PIB that they have passed. We would like to see that the harmonization is done quickly and that there is an assent given to it. As I mentioned, the uncertainty that it resolves is a huge boost to our industry, and we'd like to see that that is done and concluded very well. Other than that, we really want to thank everyone that supported ND Western. Special thanks goes to our partners for the collaboration that's existed between them and enabled ND Western to grow to the extent that it has grown over this very short period of its existence. And we really want to acknowledge our partners, NDPR, we want to acknowledge First EMP, we want to acknowledge Walter Smith, and we want to acknowledge Petrolin for building such a solid, reputable and enviable independent indigenous oil company, ND Western. So I want to thank His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the President of Nigeria. We want to also thank the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, GCON, for all the work and all the support that they have provided to the oil and gas industry. We're extremely appreciative of the work that they have done, all the policies that they have put in place. I want to appeal to all Nigerians to seize this moment with the passage of the PIB, I think it provides an excellent opportunity for all of us to put our joint hands together to support the government, to the realization of the objectives of the PIB and the government aspiration to both fight corruption and build the Nigerian oil and gas sector and build the economy and restore our nation to its pride of place. I want to thank you for this time and opportunity.